Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Welcome back to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with me, Karl Fitzpatrick. Well, my next guest is Hannah Moore of LA Pacific, and she's looking to disrupt the oral care industry with her enzyme whitening toothpaste. Hannah, it's often been said that the best businesses are the ones that alleviate a particular pain, and it was a pain that you felt that started you on the journey to starting your business.
Yes, exactly. And I always describe my founder journey as starting when I was 15 years old, as that was when I started using whitening strips. Unfortunately, at that time, I didn't care about ingredients. I didn't care about method. All I cared about were results. And ironically, the result that I ended up with was irreversible damage to my enamel.
It was many years later that you decided to research the whitening products that you were using. What prompted this decision and what was the outcome of the research?
So unfortunately, I ended up having a bit of a health scare, which totally reframed my relationship with my body, whereby I still wanted white teeth. I think a lot of people out there want white teeth for, various reasons. I guess I started as a really frustrated consumer who couldn't find a product that I wanted. So I started researching and I eventually got introduced to a dental formulator here in Ireland. And interestingly, when we first spoke, it was all about our values. It was about a shared vision of what I wanted to achieve, which ultimately ended up being aligned with what he wanted to achieve.
Now, the teeth whitening market is absolutely huge, but provide us with some numbers that support that.
Yes, so the teeth whitening market globally is worth 38 billion euro. And with LA Pacific, what we're doing is different. So we're actually the world's first to use an enzyme in a teeth whitening toothpaste. So rather than targeting the oral care market, I feel that we're paving a new category called oral beauty. So I see this as a combination of the beauty market, which is worth 155 billion globally, colossal, combined with the oral care market at 38 billion. So taking a percentage of both of those and combining them, around 7%, we estimate the oral beauty market to be worth 5 billion globally.
Now, talk to us about the current LA Pacific products and how they differ from the other whitening products on the market.
For sure. So when I'm really big into analytics and data and, connecting those to create a story. When I looked at the market by analyzing different retailers' portfolios, what I found was that shockingly, over 50% of their portfolio were citing whitening agents that were polishers. So, sandpaper is a polisher. But what most people don't realize is that some of these ingredients can actually be scratching off the surface of your enamel. And yes, number one, they can get you the result of white teeth, but they could also be scrubbing off your enamel, which is something that you can't actually grow back. So one of those is actually activated charcoal. And the British Dental Journal came out and said that this is actually a really potentially dangerous ingredient and something that at LA Pacific we don't use. So, circling back to my health scare, the ingredients that I chose to put into LA Pacific had to have no potential to harm or cause harm to any of our consumers, including myself. So we actually use Pacific sea salt, which is a gentle exfoliant. And most people don't realize, but your teeth are actually much like your skin in that they're porous. So they do need a gentle exfoliant to lift and shift stains. However, our number one unique selling point is our enzyme, so our enzyme power. So our enzyme actually interacts with the sugars that build up on your teeth throughout the day, and it transforms those into a naturally occurring hydrogen peroxide. And this is what creates our unique stain removal process of 82% stain removal in 2 minutes.
And LA Pacific is now stocked with world-leading retailers such as Boots and Walgreens. But maybe you could provide us with an insight into what was involved in securing a stockist deal with these large retail giants.
So we actually approached Boots with the innovation of this enzyme. And, going back to that portfolio analysis that I mentioned, which I think is really crucial for any business looking to get into a big retailer, is to, understand their portfolio, understand why they need your product, why your product is bringing innovation, is bringing diversity. And then it trickles through to that retailer saying, oh, wow, this isn't only going to excite my existing customers, it's actually going to attract new customers into my portfolio, into the category even. So we presented it with that data. We presented it by showing, that actually what we're doing is different. If you look at oral care at the moment, it's dominated by 4 really big players, and each of those players kind of communicates in a very similar way. However, if you look at the back of our packaging, if you look at the way I communicate on our Instagram, it's very different. It's in a really engaging way, and in a way that makes oral care cool. It makes oral care exciting, which I believe has never been done before. And luckily, Boots saw that, they recognized that, and they wanted to take us on as a result of that. So I think, you need to have the analytics to help tell the story, and then you need to show how you're going to do that as well.
That's a very, very interesting insight, I have to say. Now, remind us about the scale which you have achieved with the business to date, and specifically the international markets which you now supply.
Yes, so we've been in business for 19 months, and in that time, we've opened up 6 different revenue streams. So we obviously started off with Boots Ireland, and then when COVID hit, there was a huge impact because our strategy focused on physical retail stores as well as online. So we pivoted the business and we opened up an Amazon account, we opened up our own website, we opened up an eBay account. We also opened up with another Irish business, Cloud 10 Beauty. And then more recently, we've opened up with Maher's Pharmacies as well. But again, starting with online and then moving into retail. And I actually just announced on the Instagram last night that we have launched with Boots UK as well. So those are our current revenue streams, but we're looking to expand into the US, probably at the back end of 2021. And we've also received interest from the Middle East region as well.
And Hannah, how much emphasis do you place on new product development, and what factors inform this process?
New product development is really important. Typically, the way our sessions start off in LA Pacific, which I actually like to call dreamstorm, so rather than a brainstorm, because I want people to bring, their wildest dreams to that session. And when you do that, when you take away kind of any of the barriers to people's ideas, it means that, they're bringing up kind of, wild and wacky things. But then when you couple that with the data that you have and your understanding of the market, then you can really draw down and say, okay, wow, this is another world first, which we have 2 of coming next year. But also, wow, I know this is actually going to bring value to the customer because, number one, no one's ever done it before. And maybe they haven't done it because actually it's quite challenging. And number 2, this is actually solving a problem that my customer has.
As you look to the future, Hannah, what is the next milestone that you want to achieve with LA Pacific?
Our next milestone and our focus is definitely online. So it's something that I am trying to upskill myself on in terms of digital marketing and understanding the different platforms and how they work. Because whilst I've gained momentum and have experience in terms of opening up those retailers, you can apply the same principles to the online platforms that you're looking to sell on as well. So in the same way that I understand the ins and outs of, the Boots customer, their portfolio, where I can add value, I understand how I can bring new products to the table. I understand how I can market those. You have to be willing and curious to do the same with the other platforms that you're on. And one of the areas that we've seen amazing growth in has actually been Amazon, where Amazon is a marketplace, but it's also a marketing tool, as well as being a fulfillment center as well. In the last week of September, we actually were the #1 best-selling toothpaste on Amazon as a result of having a really targeted strategy and testing and learning and understanding what worked with the algorithm, which there are a number of different data points that you have to be cognizant of. For example, the number of reviews that you have, how long it takes you to respond to a customer, how much you're spending on pay-per-click, or whether you're actually enrolled in their fulfillment center, because that all feeds into where Amazon puts you in terms of positioning to the customer.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Hannah Moore from LA Pacific, and I wish Hannah every success as she continues to innovate and grow her oral care brand.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.